Hi everybody, welcome again. A very warm welcome. Students, now the exam days have already come, so you must be busy in preparing for your exams. And I would suggest that just go on, learning and revising. Now it is time for revising. See, new things to learn, it is not the time. It is the time, whatever you have learned, you have to revise them again. So what I am doing here is for class 11 CBSE, I am revising the important points and making them simple. If you just hear them once, you can again be reminded of all the important aspects. So the chapter now I am discussing is for class 11 CBSE board is the continuation of my last video for class 11, that is the your breathing and exchange of gases. So breathing, lot of things have been discussed already. So inhalation, exhalation. Okay, now we have to revise the points which are important in the process of inhalation and exhalation, that is the diffusion of gases. Okay, so and another important thing is the lung capacities. So what is the normal capacity of a in a normal situation of inhalation and exhalation? That is 500 ml of air, right? So similarly, how much air you can forcibly inhale or how much you can exhale forcibly. So that is also termed as your inspiratory reserve volume, that is maximum forcibly you can inhale, and the expiratory reserve volume, which is maximum you can exhale. So how much it is that you can forcibly inhale, that is about 2500 to 3000 ml, and maximum how much you can exhale forcibly, that is about 1100 ml. So these things are there in your book, you can just go through once. Okay, and residual volume, always there are some RV, it is denoted as, and always there are some air, there is remaining air that is there after every expiration. So how much it is? This averages between 1100 to 1200 ml. So these things you have to remember, students. This may come in any form, and inspiratory capacity IC is the total volume of volume of air a person can inspire after a normal expiration. Similarly, expiratory capacity is there. Maximum one can the exhale after a normal inhalation. Total volume of air a person can expire after normal inspiration. So like this, there are terms which denote the lung capacities. Vital capacity, the maximum volume of a person can breathe in after a forced expiration. Breathing, maximum how much you can breathe. Inhale, exhale, that is this includes the ARV, the TB and the IRV, or the maximum volume of air a person can breathe out after a forced inspiration. Okay, maximum air that you can breathe out, that is the vital capacity, which is 4500 ml approximately, and total lung capacity, the total volume of air accommodated in the lungs at the end of a forced inspiration, that is this includes your RV, ERV, TAV and TV and IRV or vital capacity plus residual volume. So this is about 6000 ml. So if you remember, you can remember, this will always help you. Exchange of gases. How the exchange of gases is taking place. Here you have to remember 1.1 word rather, that is the partial pressure of the gases. In a mixture of gases, there is a partial pressure of an individual, that is the partial contribution of an individual gas, that is called the partial pressure. So again I am saying that is the individual contribution of a gas in a mixture of gases, that is called the partial pressure of oxygen, which plays a very vital role in the inhalation and exhalation, in the gases diffusion, right? So just imagine what will happen when oxygen diffuses from alveoli to blood. Naturally, the individual contribution of oxygen here will be more in the alveoli. So the partial pressure of oxygen will be more than that of the carbon dioxide. So more oxygen will be diffused in the blood. This is clear. And in the tissues, since what is happening, the oxygen is being released. Oxygen in the form of oxyhemoglobin is released in the cells and tissues. So there what will happen? The partial contribution of oxygen in the tissues will be less than that of the carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide is flowing back to the blood, is diffusing back to the blood here. So the partial contribution of this pressure gradient will be of CO2 will be more in the tissues. This is clear. Now like this diffusion is actually happening, and the oxygen is being carried as oxyhemoglobin, you all know, and it is a very unstable compound. So the sooner it reaches the cells and tissues, oxygen is released. Oxygen, they break into hemoglobin and oxygen is released into cells and tissues. So this is clear, student. So how much 100 ml of blood can release oxygen? That is 5 ml only. Per 100 ml, how much oxygen is released? That is 5 ml of O2. Okay. And about carbon dioxide, the diffusion of carbon dioxide is also there. So in which form the carbon dioxide is being diffused? That is carbaminohemoglobin. It is also combined with hemoglobin, right? So what is actually happening there, that you have to understand. First of all, you have to understand about the diffusion membrane of the alveoli. This is very important here. So alveoli is having 3 layered membrane. Okay. So the outermost is the squamous epithelial, that is a layered. Squamous means some few layers will be there, and then the endothelium. Okay. So and then the basement substance. So these are the 3 membranes which are helping the gases to diffuse. Okay. So this appears as a very thick membrane, but it is not thick at all. It is less than 1 millimeter, this diffusion membrane. So about this membrane you have to have an idea, you have to know if there is any question, right? And about the transport of carbon dioxide, which is also very important. So you have understood about the partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide, where it is high, where it is low, right? Now what is happening, that a chemical reaction is taking place in the cells and tissues. So carbaminohemoglobin has been formed, which is carbon dioxide is bound to hemoglobin, right? From the tissues is delivered at the alveoli to be exhaled. So now the RBCs contain a very high concentration of, this you have to remember, of enzyme, which is called the carbonic anhydrase, carbonic anhydrase. Okay, and minute quantities of same is present in the plasma also. So this carbonic anhydrase is present in the plasma also, and this enzyme facilitates a reaction in both the directions. That is CO2 plus H2O. What is happening? In the presence of carbonic anhydrase, H2CO3, that is bicarbonate, is formed, which is again broken into the bicarbonate and hydrogen. So this carbonic acid and hydrogen. So at the tissue site where partial pressure of CO2, tissue site partial pressure of CO2 will be high due to catabolism, right? And CO2 diffuses into blood, RBC, more rapidly than oxygen. The 20% is more. The solubility of CO2 is about 20% more than oxygen. So at the alveolar site, whereas the PCO2 is low, the reaction proceeds in the opposite direction, leading to the formation of carbon dioxide and water. So when it is carbon dioxide and water is forming what? Forming H2CO3, okay? H2CO3, that is a bicarbonate. It is being broken into HCO3 and H ions. So the opposite reaction will also take place. So this will form again CO2 and H2O. Okay, so this is the reaction which you have to understand. So thus the CO2 trapped as bicarbonate, CO2 has been trapped as bicarbonate here at the tissue level. This is the first reaction. At the tissue level, what has happened? The CO2 has trapped as bicarbonate. Okay, and this has been transported to the alveoli, and now in the alveoli what will happen? The alveoli, the CO2 will be released. In the alveoli, the CO2 will be released, which will be exhaled. So in this is a two-way reaction. This you have to understand. CO2 plus H2O in the presence of carbonic hydrase, H2CO3 will be formed, that is a bicarbonate, which will again break into bicarbonated hydrogen. And this CO2 and water, the CO2 trapped as bicarbonate at the tissue level is doing what? Is transported back to the alveoli where the carbon dioxide is released. Okay, so in the bicarbonate form only it is carried to the alveoli where the CO2 is released. Okay, so every 100 ml of blood will give how much CO2? About 4 ml of CO2 to the alveoli. Each 100 ml of blood delivers how much CO2 in the alveoli? About 4 ml of CO2 in the alveoli. Okay, so this is the process of diffusion in the alveoli and also in the tissues. The roles, the importance of partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide at both the sites. So this you have to remember, students, and any question in this form you can just answer them. And disorders of respiratory system, asthma is there, difficulty in breathing, emphysema is there, where the lungs of walls of the lungs are damaged, due to which respiratory surface is decreased. Okay, one of the major causes of this is cigarette smoking causes emphysema, right? And occupational respiratory disorders can also be there in certain industries, especially those disorders because of occupation, right? Like stone grinding industries, or so much dust is produced that the defense mechanism of the body cannot fully cope with the situation, right? Long exposure can give rise to inflammation leading to fibrosis, proliferation of fibrous tissues, and thus causing serious lung damages. So if fibrosis takes place, proliferation of fibrous tissues will be there. The tissues will be proliferated. Okay, so the lungs will be severely damaged. So workers in such industries should wear protective masks. That is the precaution of these occupational respiratory disorders. I think students, you can just go through these points and just revise these points because this is a very important chapter. And with that, I am ending this video and sincerely thank you for your patient listening. And if you are liking, if it is benefiting, please subscribe to my channel and put your suggestions, put your questions, if any, in the comment box, right? So I always welcome your suggestions, questions, etc., so that I can improve upon and the objective that is it should benefit you all is fulfilled. With that, I am ending this video again, and that is for today. In the next video, I'll come with some other important chapter. Thank you very much. God bless you all.